What's up, fantasy football people? Welcome back to the fantasy football channel. We are the Schluter Bros, and we are here doing your homework for you. Adam, give me your best Bronco sound, horse sound, mile high salute.
Uh,
Today we are talking Broncos. Adam, how you doing?
Man, I am doing wonderful. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I love even better. You are looking mighty fine in that
You
Hawaiian
are
shirt.
also looking mighty fine.
Man, I love a good Hawaiian day. You can't beat that stuff.
Me too.
Welcome back, folks. Man, I love Denver. Mountains, breweries, good sports. It's a beautiful city to be in, let me tell you. We are starting off today with a new segment, Best Draft City Locations. Okay. Going through some NFL news, most importantly, breaking down all the fantasy relevant players of this Denver Broncos team. We'll also finish with a little bit of an O-line breakdown and coaching breakdown as well. So grab yourself an IPA, a Denver Mule, or a Colorado Bulldog, and let's get it going. Which is,
I like that last one.
The Bulldog is vodka, coffee liqueur, cream, and cola. So that
vodka
one
and
packs a little
coffee?
punch. Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever had that.
Yeah, that thing's probably got a little caffeine in it, hence the Bulldog, if I didn't say so myself.
Oh, coffee.
Alrighty.
Coffee okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks, stay for the yep.
Go ahead.
Fun segment. We're doing our best destination cities. We're going to have a top 5 that I went through with AI and ChatGPT. And then we're also going to go over our top 3 favorite destination cities that we ourselves have experienced. I'm going to start this from number 5 and work our way down to 1. Again, this is what AI is saying, a little bit of large language model putting it to work here. Yes, sir.
This is not NFL drafts. This is for fantasy football drafts and for your pleasure.
Correct. Exactly. Yep. Just, having fun with the boys, the brothers, the sisters, whoever you got out there. Number 5 is the city of Chicago, which we have done, Kyle. We did that once many years ago. Number 4 is Miami, which we have not done for a draft location, but we have been there.
Mm-hmm.
That would be steamy. Coming in number 3, going to Texas. Austin, Texas has the number 3 spot. Number 2. Nashville, Tennessee, where I currently reside. And coming in at number 1, no surprise to many, Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, folks.
Las Vegas.
Honorable mentions I want to throw in there. New Orleans, we've never done that. I bet that'd be awesome. And San Diego, beautiful San Diego out there. One thing I did see online, Kyle, was someone was saying they've done fantasy football drafts in an NFL stadium. So I don't know who you got to know or who you got to network to get that. But, man, I think that would be my number 1 if we could ever swing that in Green Bay or something cool like that.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure.
Love it. Take us away with our spots.
All right. We've drafted in the Las Vegas quite a few times. For me, we did the Beer Park venue, which we did inside. They had a nice spot for us. I thought that was very nice. You get waited on the whole time. It was like an $800 down, and then you spend that much in food and drinks. And it was really a great time. So that one was the highlight for me. Adam, I think you had a different one in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas one. My favorite was the Link Sportsbook. It was a new sportsbook for the Link. It was clean. It was beautiful. We had couches and TVs and great service and great bartenders. That was my favorite one, just being in the sportsbook scene. Without a doubt for me.
And then we've done one in Denver. The draft was physically located at a nice Airbnb with a rooftop. Shout out to Swanky's Bar, as we did spend a lot of our money and time there.
Shout out Swanky's.
And in Nash Vegas, we did reserve a very nice party room downtown with great city views, balcony. That was a smash draft as well. We hired bartenders for that, and probably spent too much of that weekend playing a horse racing game that somebody brought up. But great times, great draft locations. Highly recommend those. Put them at the top of your list. Comment below.
It's a fun game.
Your favorite draft destinations, looking forward to or past.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a fun horse racing game. We were leaving the bars at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon to go home and go play more horse racing.
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty, folks. With that said, let's break into the NFL news and drama that we got going on. First off, Cowboys left tackle. He went down earlier this week with what was feared to be an ACL injury. Thankfully, that ACL is still intact. It sounds like it is a fracture, so probably a fracture to the top of his tibia. But nonetheless, that's much better than tearing your ACL. So he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. That saves the Cowboys from having a very dark start to their season. You do not want to lose your left tackle that early. So good news for them. A little scary, but good news in the long run. Second shot for you, per Schefter. Micah Parsons is further away from a deal with the Cowboys than they were in March. This one makes me chuckle a bit. Classic Cowboys waiting to the very last minute to sign their players. And
Every
I think the
time.
Cowboys can thank TJ Watt and the deal they got for this one, because now Mika's like, you better pay me that or more. So well done, Mika. Keep holding out until you get that bag. You deserve it, man.
All right. And then I also have where are we here? Zach Moss was
Yep.
released by the Cincinnati Bengals. And I mean this just confirms my bullish case for Chase Brown getting the majority of the work and being a top running back this year. So I'm sure he'll get maybe a slight bump in ADP. He's already pretty
Yeah,
high.
probably. Yep.
Still, you can draft him with even more confidence this year.
Yes, you can.
Courtland Sutton got paid a 4-year, $92 million contract extension as Denver's top diva. Anything on that?
Bag well deserved. He's their number one. They need him. Bo Nix needs him. We'll talk about him today shortly, and I think that's a fair deal for him.
Okay. Why don't you give us the overview of the Denver Broncos last year and break down the offense for us?
I would love nothing more than that, Kyle. Last
Great.
year, the Denver Broncos finished third in the AFC West with a 10-7 record, just behind the Chargers at 11-6, and well behind the Chiefs at 15-2. They went to the playoffs. Good for them in that rookie campaign for Bo Nix. Lost to the Buffalo Bills, so you can't fault them too much for losing to one of the best teams in the AFC. Last year, total offense was ranked 19th overall. 324 yards per game, a total of 44 offensive touchdowns. Rushing rank was 16th, 112 rush yards per game and 12 rushing tutties. And pass rank was 20th with 212 pass yards per game and 30 passing touchdowns. So well done, Bo Nix there. I think that pass rank is also hindered a little bit because they run the ball so much and they have a phenomenal defense. And before we dive too far into their players, they do have such a phenomenal defense that does hinder some of these fantasy players, Kyle, because they don't need to put up crazy points like the Bengals do.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
one
like
of the
the
better young
Bengals.
defenses in the league. Yep. Vegas win-loss total, 9.5. My man, were you taking on that 9.5 over under for Denver?
God, this is one of the hardest ones, I think. This is such a good division.
Very good division. And the Raiders are going to get slightly better. I'm not worried about them, but they're going to get slightly better to make this division even tougher.
I guess I would bet on 10. I would bet on 10 wins again.
Exactly what they had last year.
Yeah, I think so.
I would agree with you. Great defense. Bo Nix only to get better. I would agree with you. I'm also going to go at 10. God, we are Sally's for that. But nonetheless, that's what we think.
We'll get juicier on some of the next ones.
Yep.
They do have the
Absolutely.
14th easiest schedule, so they're middle of the pack there with a tough division.
Yep. Meat and potatoes, baby.
All right, let's get into the fantasy relevant players. Bo Nix, quarterback, finished his rookie campaign as QB7 and projected by ESPN QB8.
Well done, man.
Current ADP, 80th overall. Last year threw for 3,700 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 picks. He also had 430 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns with his legs.
That's frothy. I like that a lot. That's frothy.
I mean, basically the exact same projections for this year. 15 fantasy point difference.
Yep.
This is a guy who really, I think, outperformed as a rookie for what everybody expected from him for his first year. I think the offense coordinator, the quarterbacks coach, Sean Payton, I think this is just how good they are with quarterbacks and a young player who's committed to putting in the work to being great. And that's what we all saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I want to highlight this even more. He had 316 fantasy points as a rookie, which is the fifth most ever by a first year quarterback. Okay, so that is phenomenal numbers for a fantasy perspective, and obviously that rushing upside helps that. The Broncos were also seventh in red zone touchdown rate at 62%. So hats off to the organization and the quarterback on that as well. Those are phenomenal numbers. If this guy improves another year forward, which I think he will in this Sean Payton offense, the sky's the limit for this guy. I mean, you have easily top five upside with this quarterback with his rushing upside, and he's a lot quicker and faster than most people would think. We know they locked down Sutton, like we said earlier, and he's got some other explosive players on this team with Mims and a few others. So I love this cat. He's absolutely in a one QB league, someone you can target. Not too early, but around that sixth round, seventh, eighth round, somewhere in there, you can start to look at him.
Yeah, they actually have added quite a bit, in my opinion. They added a little bit of depth at receiver. They added a very good pass catching running back with I think it was their second rookie pick. And
Yep.
they brought over Evan Engram as a much upgraded pass catching tight end. So, I see a bump going forward for this guy. Those are really good rookie numbers, but I don't deny that it's going to even be better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's someone you can get at a price point draft wise, where obviously, you got to reach heavy for Lamar, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels. You got to reach. It's a guy with rushing upside. You don't have to reach as hard for him. So if you want to get a quarterback that has that rushing upside, which is what you want in fantasy football, you can get him at a good price. So love that for
It
Bo Nix. And
It just feels more and more like Sean Payton and the Saints of old. Like, this is almost like the modern day Drew Brees if I was drawing a comp to it.
I mean, Drew Brees did not run the football nearly as much or at all, from what I remember.
No, but what he's
But
able to do, because I mean,
yeah,
but when Drew
yeah,
Brees was with the Chargers, he was not as good as with Sean Payton and the Saints. Together, they did great things.
yeah.
So I see a lot of that here.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I mean, hats off to Sean Payton. I don't love him for some of the things he says, but putting he's putting it in. He's putting the work in, and I gotta respect him for that.
For sure. Okay, let's talk about his number one diva. Courtland Sutton got paid.
Yes,
Last
he
year, he
did.
finished as Diva 10. Currently projected as wide receiver 24. ADP is around 50th overall standard scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 135 targets, 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. And they're projecting a very similar performance this year through ESPN. Again, about 6 points difference on the year for fantasy. And I buy it. Like with these projections, as he finished receiver 10 and he's being projected as wide receiver 24, like that's a gap I don't mind.
I echo that, and I love that gap. And I think this is a wonderful value pick. If you're getting him around wide receiver 24, I think it's a great value. It's a no brainer. You could even put him in, around 20 to 21 if you're drafting him there. I don't hate that just because of how well Bo Nix played. On top of that, finishing as 10 and going to 24, like we're saying, fat. That's a fat gap right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other things on Sutton, we already talked about he's valuable. The other weapons on the team are not nearly as consistent as he is. So he is going to be the go-to true number one on the outside. I like Mims a lot, which we'll get into, the rookie they got, but he is the true, like, it's this guy's show to run and this guy's wide receiver locker room to run, if you will. So I like that for target's sake, for catches' sakes in PPR leagues. 29 years old, entering his 8th season, I believe. And yeah,
Yeah, for most leagues, he's the only Denver receiver I'm considering, but I like him and I would like to draft him as much as possible at his ADP.
your words, not mine, but I hear you.
You gonna talk about somebody else you might be drafting?
I would love to.
Okay.
Marvin Mims. Boy, is this cat electric. Finished as wide receiver 52 last year. Projected Diva this year is 63. ADP overall 138. What that means is you can get this guy for next to nothing. Okay, he's basically free, and he is one of my sleeper candidates of the year. He's extremely explosive, like I said, extremely fast. They give him the ball on run plays just as much, just to get him the ball and get the ball in his hands. The biggest issue that I have with Mims, and I think this is going to change, is last year he played less than 50% of the offensive snaps. Okay, that's a big red flag. However, in the playoff game last year, he played 69% of the offensive snaps. So when they truly needed him and when the dance was getting going, they put him out there more. If he can grow this snap share to consistently above 70% this season, which I think he will be in the true number 2 on this team, he is going to easily outperform this ADP, and he is going to be a great sleeper long shot just due to his talent and abilities. And if you haven't seen some of his highlights, watch them. This guy is freaky fast, and once he gets the ball in his hands, watch out. It's a big bust play waiting to happen.
Okay. Yeah, and
Shoot me down. Shoot me down. I see you getting grumpy on my thoughts here.
No. Deeper leagues, I think it's fine for a flyer that doesn't cost anything. Let's just throw some numbers at you guys here. So last year he had 52 targets, 39 catches, 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. Projections for this year, 65 targets, 44 grabs, 627 yards, 4 touchdowns. They're also projecting him for 100 yards rushing with a rushing touchdown. So 100 points on the season, basically. I don't know. It's just, I don't see the upside enough in this offense. In this offense, I would see the touchdown upside to tight end, newly acquired Evan Engram, and rookie running back RJ Harvey is where I would see the touchdown upside in the receiving room on this team.
Okay. I mean, when you're getting him in the 13th round or after that, it's essentially free for a guy that has great boom potential. And he's going to be the true number 2 this year. And due to that, he's going to get more volume. He's going to get more targets. I like him a lot. Dynasty leagues, especially, if you can get him, he's entering his 3rd year. But yeah, a late round lottery ticket that I like and that I'm willing to put a couple bucks on, to say the least.
Okay. Speaking of that, why don't you mention the other 3 receivers that we got here?
Troy Franklin, Devaughn Vele, and the rookie, who I'll touch on for a minute, Pat Bryant. Okay, he was selected in the 3rd round of this year's draft. Decent size. However, the biggest knock I have on this cat is he is slow. 4.61 40-yard dash. Bo Nix might have a faster one than that. I don't know. But nonetheless, he was one of the slowest. He's one of the slowest receivers in the draft. So that's the knock there, which then gives me that much more upside to Mims, being the speedy guy as a number 2. In the Big Ten in 2024, Bryant ranked 3rd in receiving yards per game at 82 and tied for 3rd in receiving touchdowns at 10. And again, that was in the Big Ten for his last season in college. Not someone I'm picking just because I'm way higher on Mims and there's not enough to go around in this run-heavy offense. But nonetheless, we'll see what this cat can do.
Okay. Yeah, those are dynasty, things I would say there. Otherwise, for redraft formats, it's kind of Courtland Sutton or bust for me, I believe. But I could see deeper leagues, Marvin Mims having value.
Okay.
All right. Tight end, Evan Engram, projected as tight end 10, ADP, 90th overall. He previously spent a few seasons with Jacksonville where, other than last year, he actually performed pretty well. He had a large target share, and he always finished among top 7 on tight ends while he was there and healthy. Okay. So he's been a great pass catching weapon when heavily targeted in a decent offense with a decent quarterback. Obviously, he started his career in New York, and it wasn't as good for him there. No. But he had a lot of success in Jacksonville. So I think Sean Payton has a history of being able to do great things with talented tight ends who can catch.
I like that perspective. Jimmy Graham back in the day, right?
And they did also draft another large tight end who can catch, I believe. But to me, I like this as tight end 10 in that range for touchdown upside in an offense where I think he's going to get a lot of targets.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's going into his 9th season, so he's getting up there. He was injured quite a bit last year, but when he was in there, he was productive. The biggest stat I like about this, he only had 1 touchdown last year, so there is some potential for some serious TD progression on this team. But he's getting older, so due to that, I don't know if I like him at tight end 10. I think I'd push him down a little bit newer of a team and a rushing offense. I don't know if I like him at tight end 10. I'd probably have him 12 or 13 myself, but fair enough. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. That's going to be the biggest factor.
Yeah, I mean, if this guy stays healthy and if he's used anything like he was used in Jacksonville, this is a good weapon. So that's how I see it. Running backs, Drafted RJ Harvey, projected
Mhm.
RB 27 by ESPN, current ADP around 52nd overall. And I just want to throw this out there to you, Adam. Sean Payton has a history of drafting some strong running backs. Do you remember
He
Reggie
does.
Bush, Mark
I do.
Ingram, and Alvin
Yep.
Kamara?
Those are all good picks. Reggie Bush was a little let down fantasy wise, but boy, was he fun to watch.
I mean, he was, especially for PPR, he was a weapon in his
Yeah.
prime. I don't
I
think
just
he
watched the Reggie Bush highlight the other day where he was at like the 7 yard line running in, and some guy tried tackling him, and he jumped from like the 6 yard line, cleared him, and
cleared
scored the
him.
touchdown in one jump. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy's
Yep.
insane.
Yep. So they currently have him projected on the ground, very similar to J.K. Dobbins, who is second on the current depth chart. So both these guys will share the backfield, is how we're viewing this right now. This is a team that definitely wants to run the ball. ESPN's got Harvey projected for about 180 touches, 795 yards, five touchdowns, 50 catches, 387 yards, and two receiving touchdowns. Um, I I think the probably as long as J.K. Dobbins is healthy and stays involved, I definitely think that's going to limit RJ's rushing yards. But
Yeah.
I do think this is the clear pass catching weapon in the backfield. And I think he could outperform in the receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, especially second half of the season. He profiles as a very talented receiving running back. And you think about some of those guys that I mentioned, other than Mark Ingram, those other two, Reggie Bush, Alvin Kamara, they've done a lot of their damage through the air. And that's just how I see it for him this year. Do you have any initial thoughts on RJ Harvey?
I do. I mean, nothing against him. He's got 4.40. Love that. 5'8", 200 pounds. So packs a punch for a little guy. I think he's overpriced. RB 27. I like the run heavy offense. And I know why that. I know that's why he's overpriced is because the run heavy offense. Sean Payton likes his young running backs, but taking him before J.K. Dobbins is not something I agree with, unless your argument is what you said with the PPR, because he's going to have better PPR value. But him going well ahead of J.K. Dobbins, I do not agree with one bit. And if we're ready to switch gears, I can kind of tell you why on that.
Well, I mean, they even have him. ESPN has him projected for more rush attempts than J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that one bit. Catches for sure, receiving yards for sure. But J.K. Dobbins is a great running back. The only issue with J.K. Dobbins is he has yet
He's
to
never
finish a
healthy.
full season
He never
healthy.
does.
But so last year he played 13 games. In 13 games last year, he had 900 yards, 195 carries, a 4.6 yards per carry. And, the catches were weaker with 32 catches and 153 receiving yards, but he still can do it. But watching Dobbins last year, because I had it on one of my squads, he was excellent. He ran the ball hard. He was fast. He could run people over. And at 4.6 yards per carry, that just proves that. So I am higher on Dobbins than Harvey, unless you're solely going from a PPR angle. Then I can see why he could go a little bit in front of him. But if we're up to me, I would take Dobbins ahead of him because he's proven runner in the NFL. And as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to finish with more carries than Harvey.
Well, that's a pretty bold statement.
It's not
Um,
that bold.
I'm not going to knock J.K. Dobbins as a pure running back. Like every year, I think he's a fine running back, but the guy never finishes a season, and it's just not good for fantasy. Usually, at the outcome, like sure, there's some value mixed into the season, but I'm never happy with it. So I
I was
like the
happy with Dobbins last year.
I
I
like
thought
the
he did
young.
wonderful.
He did finish as RB 21 with the Bolts. He is currently being projected as RB
With
35 for Denver.
13 games. He had 4 games. The dude averaged, and this is why I love that. He averaged in PPR 14.8 points per game between those 13 games. No one's complaining with 14 points per game, especially when you're talking he's going as RB 35. Are you kidding me? It's another value pick on a run heavy offense. Yes, it's a new team, but I like Dobbins. I think Dobbins is a great value here. And like
Yeah,
I
that
said,
was a
I would take him.
Harbaugh led offense with the
Yeah,
Chargers
but yeah,
last
but
year
the
that he
Denver
did that.
Broncos, the Broncos run just as much. I would say just as maybe a little less, but just as much. Right around the same. Okay, I know they're both
Yeah,
run
they're going
heavy
to want to
minded
run the
guys.
ball for sure.
Yeah,
I see value both ways here.
yep,
At J.K. Dobbins ADP, yes, all day. He's not costing you like anything.
yeah.
Compared to RJ Harvey does have a pretty high ADP. Last mock, I think I took him in the seventh round. and that was in a PPR. And PPR is where he is clearly the standout. Um,
Yeah,
I
even
would
in
I would
PPR,
find it
I
hard
would
to draft Dobbins in PPR, but in
at
standard,
all or just
I
in front of him.
well definitely not in front of him or at or probably even at ADP, but maybe
Okay.
depending on my roster structure, if I needed some sort of depth at running back, fine. But standard scoring, I do see a better case for J.K. Dobbins at or above his ADP right now.
I'm going to go further on a limb and say PPR or standard, I'm taking Dobbins ahead of him. And another point to prove that is we are now away and gone with Javonte Williams. He is gone. And J.K. Dobbins is the bigger back. He is going to get the red zone carries. That's not going to a 5'8", 200-pound running back. That's going to the bigger, stronger, proven running back. So he's going to get way more rushing looks in the red zone, way more touchdowns. And it's not like the dude can't catch a ball. He had 30 catches last year, so it's not like he's never going to catch a ball. Will it be less than Harvey? Probably. But again, he's going to be the first and second down back and the red zone back in a team that runs the football. So I guess we'll see how this shake. I mean, everyone's thinking he's old. He's only 26 years old. You got Saquon and Henry, 28, 29, and 31. Those guys are way old. He's not that old yet. Again, his health is an issue for sure. But if he's fully healthy, I guarantee you he does more than RJ Harvey throughout the whole season if they're both fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the fact that I've had him once or twice in the past and he's had a knee surgery or been out for the season or something where it was very
Sure.
disappointing for fantasy. I think he was originally with Baltimore where he had a few injuries. Um,
Yep. He did.
so those are, that's some wear and tear on a running back, right?
It sounds
And
like the wear and tear
especially
is on you, on your wounds from having him in the past, not so much him. He's going to be fresh out there.
okay, well, we'll leave it like this. We will say J.K. Dobbins has some upside value for volume and potential touchdown upside at ADP in this offense. That's a good offensive line that wants to run the ball. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say. I think he's a steal at his ADP.
Okay,
Steal.
you think he's a steal. I won't go that far, but
Mm-hmm.
you're a steal at his ADP. Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the
Mm-hmm.
record. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to
We'll circle
say,
back to this moment. I can't wait for it.
I'm going to say, I'm just like, I know it's a little bit expensive, but especially in PPR, like this is a sexy rookie that for PPR, I don't mind taking some shots on.
I think you're getting distracted by the sexy appeal. As you
And
always
that's
say,
fine.
too rich
That's
for
fine.
my blood.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree on these running backs.
We will, and I love that.
Okay, that sounds good. Honorable mentions, they still have Jaleel McLaughlin, then
Mhm.
Michael Burton and Estime. So they're pretty deep at,
Yeah.
average running backs. These two are the
Yep.
clear standouts,
Yep.
and I think they could both have pretty decent seasons, honestly.
Yep. Stay healthy, Dobbins. Let my brother eat his words here. I can't wait for it.
All right. And then I did mention, just mocked, Sutton has the highest ADP out of the Denver players here. It was a round 4 pick. And then RJ, round 7. And then Bo Nix and Evan Engram, round 10. Those are the guys I wanted to note. And I like the value of Engram and Bo Nix in around 10. Yeah, I like that.
All right. All right. All right.
You got any other thoughts on that?
I think we had a good little debate there. I'm happy with what we said, and I cannot wait for week 8, week 12, where we can circle back to this and we can point our fingers at each other.
Do you want to put a wager on which of these running back finishes higher for total fantasy points on the season?
Can we do half? I'll give you a half-point PPR, and I will. Half-point PPR. Make it fair, right in the middle. $20.
Fine. Deal.
$20, half-point PPR.
Okay. Total
Can't wait.
points on the season, half point PPR.
Correct. Write it down. Somebody write it down.
Somebody. Where's our tech guy? Tell him to write that down.
Dave,
where you at? All right. I'll just touch on the coaching. Sean Payton. Remember, he took over this Denver team when it was a failed Russell Wilson experiment. And after that, what a turnaround last year. I can't give him enough credit for what he's done with Bo Nix and what he's done with this team, honestly. And, he prefers more of a balanced rushing, receiving attack, more West Coast style. Offense coordinator Joe Lombardi. Sean Payton still calls the plays. And defense coordinator Vance Joseph. This is historically been a great defense for the last few
Yep.
years, and
And it
I don't
is. It
think
is a really good defense.
I don't think any of us
Young.
think that's going to change going forward. So
No, it's only going to get
all
better in the
around, I
next year or
think this
two.
is a really good team.
Yep.
Obviously, they do at 9.5 wins too with for Vegas. Strong division, and this is a team I think is going to be as balanced as they can, run a smart offense, and take their shots with their weapons. And you want a few fantasy pieces here.
Absolutely. And to further echo why you want some of these fantasy pieces, especially in the run game, is let's talk about their O-line breakdown here. Preseason rank before 2024 was 16th. They finished the season second overall. So what a massive jump for these cats. That is a huge improvement. And this offensive line was phenomenal. Even more, what I love best is they're bringing back all 5 starters. This is one of the few teams in the
That's
NFL that are
rare.
bringing all 5 starters back, and they were amazing. So this is going to be another amazing year for them, barring, everyone stays healthy. Left to right, we got Garrett Bowles, left tackle, left guard, Ben Powers, center, Luke Wattenberg, Quinn Manners, and right tackle, Mike McGlinchey. Okay. Not much I'm going to elaborate on here. There's not much going on in terms of new acquisitions. Like I said, all 5 are coming back. They were rock solid this year. I expect them to take another step forward this year. And when you finish as offensive line 2 overall, can't get much better than that. 2 good backs to run behind you. Sean Payton team. I mean, this is going to be solid, and this is going to help them in this very AFC, in this tough AFC West division. It's gonna turn some heads. I think another year. They're gonna get another year better.
Yep. So I'll touch on some of the free agency moves. Obviously, they acquired Evan Engram and J.K. Dobbins. So offensively, those are probably 2 of the most notable acquisitions, especially for fantasy. They re-signed the backup quarterback, Jared Stidham, backup tight end, Adam Troutman, and then Javonte Williams departed and he signed with the Cowboys. So, and
Yes, he did.
in his prime, he was great, and then he came back from the injury, and it was kind of a tough sledding for him. So I think this is an upgrade with these 2 running backs, J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. It'll just be interesting to see who gets the majority of the work and where and how that shakes out. But overall, for the Denver backfield, I think this is a big upgrade this year.
Love that. Love that. Alrighty, folks. Draft picks. The first pick overall in pick 20 was Jade Barone, who is an absolute stud out of Texas, a cornerback. So they made this already great defense another step better with a great cornerback there. And then we know about R.J. Harvey in the second round and Pat Bryant in the third round. There was the offensive weapons that they added. The other picks were defensive lineman, outside linebacker, and a punter, Jeremy Crishaw. Shout out Jeremy Crishaw out of Florida, punter. It's the first one we've ever highlighted on this show. But no, I think those 2 offensive weapons are going to be very good for this team. I think it's going to be a year or 2 for Pat Bryant to show some things. And we know you're drooling all over RJ Harvey, and he's not touching my boy J.K. Dobbins. So that's that, folks.
All right. Looks like your next episode. Where are we heading, Adam?
We are headed to the South. So grab your cowboy hats because we're going to Houston, covering the Texans, baby. That's going to be a fun one.
All right. Thank you for tuning in on the Fantasy Football channel. Like, subscribe, or scratch yourself. We'll see you in Houston.